I'll speak a little bit about how crazy this fucking division is, the NFC East. Oh my lord. Paul Schwartz had put out an article that didn't really reveal a whole lot, but the title was "Why the Giants NFC East title isn't so crazy," and he didn't really. I mean, there's nothing. The New York Post is just like they're very well known for having catchy titles and headlines, and then the substance in the article is just like, this is what you didn't tell me why it's isn't so crazy. Like he could have boiled it down to a sentence, I guess. But 6-10 can win the division. We said it earlier on in the episode. 6-10 can win the division, and that would send the National Football League into a fucking tizzy to have that happen, because we all went nuts when the Seahawks went 7-9 in 2010, or was it 2011? 2010 or 2011? I think it was 2010, and they hosted the playoff game against the Saints, and that's when we had Beastquake. To go 6-10, so we're 3-7 now. To go 6-10, we'd have to go 3-3 down the stretch, which very realistic. I think we get a win against the Bengals. We'll probably get a win against the Cowboys in the finale. And then we would need one more win. And that one more win would have to come against, we'll get into it a little bit. But I looked at PhillyPlayoffStatus.com. It's one of my favorite websites. I've been going to it probably every year since I don't know when, 08, 09 maybe. And it has not been updated in that time. It's the same exact website. It serves its purpose. It's like Wikipedia. They should ask for donations. They really should. Giants have a 21% chance to win the East, which that's significantly up from 5% to make the playoffs before. Cowboys are at 20%, and the Eagles are at 48% to win the East. Philly has the fourth toughest schedule in the league, second hardest in the conference, and the most difficult in the division. So I'd say if anyone crumbles, it could be the Eagles. They have the away game with the Browns this week. Who knows how that turns out? I mean, the Browns have an amazing run game. Their defense is pretty sturdy. After that big loss to the Ravens, I think in the opener, they've been pretty solid ever since. So even though they don't have OBJ and, Njoku wants a trade and all that, which I guess he denied maybe, that's going to be a tough one. Home against the Seahawks. So I would feel better about, Philly losing if it were in Seattle, but that's a Monday night game. That's must-watch TV. At the Packers in Green Bay, so that's probably a loss. Home against the Saints, which the Saints are a different ball team away than they are at home. And Drew Brees, who knows where he is with the injury. So I think they said broken ribs and a collapsed lung, which that's not, you don't bounce back from that. And Jameis Winston, how is he going to play? We'll find out this week against the Falcons. So maybe they do pull off wins against the Seahawks and Saints. I think they lose to the Browns and Packers. And then they have the at Arizona. So I think that could be a loss as well, because the Phillies doesn't play as well away as they do at home. So you're looking at 2 wins against 3 losses in their next 5. They could very well lose the next 5, and that would put them at 3-10-1. And if they finish at 5-10-1, 6-10 for us will give us the division. Now, the issue is with the Cowboys, oddly enough, people have discredited and counted out the Cowboys and the Washington football team, and I think that's a mistake. And I know things look pretty shitty for Dallas right now, but let's take a look. The Cowboys had the easiest schedule in the league. Now, I want to put easiest in quotes, because after I read this off, you're going to be like, I don't know about that. At the Vikings, I think that's a loss. Home against Washington on Thanksgiving Day. They very rarely lose on Thanksgiving Day. But they did lose to Washington earlier, even with Andy Dalton in the mix, 25-3. Would that be different on their home turf? That could be a loss. And then at Baltimore, that's a loss. That's the following Thursday. And then at Cincinnati, that could be a win. And then home against the 49ers. Who knows what state the 49ers are going to be in? I mean, they've got a lot of injuries. So, Dallas could be looking at 5-9 with 2 games to play. And those 2 games would be the Eagles and Giants. So if they win those 2, they're 7-9, they win the division. But again, loss. potential loss, potential win. So 3 losses, 1 win, maybe 2 and 3. So yeah, maybe they are 4-10 by the time they face the Eagles and Giants. Now, the Washington football team has the second easiest schedule in the division. They're home against the Bengals, which they could pull that off. At Dallas on Thanksgiving. At Pittsburgh, that's a loss. At San Francisco, who knows where San Fran is? That could be a loss. It could be a win. Home against the Seahawks. So they're not in Seattle. That could be a game changer. And then they're home against Carolina. So they very well could be 6-9 before they face the Eagles. And if they face the Eagles in the finale at 6-9 and win 7-9, that puts, and we're 6-10. Washington gets even though we own the tiebreaker, Washington has the better record. And so they would get the division crown. I mean, who knows? They should have beat, I think they should have beat the Lions this past week and just crumbled last minute. And the Lions are, the Lions, but they do give people a fucking fight every week. Giants have the 6th toughest road ahead in the conference. At Cincy, I got that as a win. At Seattle, I have that as a loss because I just think it's in Seattle. Crazy shit happens there, and it usually goes Seattle's favor. And then home against Arizona, I think because this is a home game, I have it as a win. And then we have a home game against the Browns. I think that could be a win. And then I have us at Baltimore. We're losing in Baltimore just because it's just, no thanks. So we have 3 wins, 2 losses. We could be at 6-9 heading into the Cowboys game. And that means, hopefully we could pull out the win there and go to 7-9 because we would own the tiebreaker against the Washington football team. So say we go 7-9, Washington goes 7-9, we own the tiebreaker. I think 7-9 is definitely within reach. Although that's a murderer's row, death row. Seattle, Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore. Fortunately for us, Cardinals and Browns are at home, but playing in Seattle and in Baltimore. Oof. But Baltimore just lost to the Pats in New England. Didn't look great. Seahawks have not looked too great. I don't know how they're doing tonight. I haven't checked in. They were playing the Cardinals tonight, so I'd have to check in on how that went down. Cardinals in Arizona, I think that would have been a little scarier, but yeah. Cleveland, I think it's going to be a slugfest. That's going to be like a 6-3 game. It's going to be like the 3-2 game in the bottom of the ninth, like where I was hoping that we would just put a fucking smackdown on Cleveland, as to finally put all the comparisons to rest about the OBJ trade and all that bullshit. But it's going to be like, I'm expecting like injuries galore in that one. It's just going to be people hurting each other.